It's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's Geek Time! If you know how to give the Vulcan hand sign, if you never kissed a girl or tasted wine, if you write all your papers in Linux, then you know it's Geek Time. If you still live with your parents and you're 38 years old, you got a pocket protector and you blog about having a cold. It's Geek Time, can't wait to get an iPad. It's Geek Time, you're like Ogal and Superbad. It's Geek Time, you got a coffee mug warmer and an Iron Man mask. It's Geek Time, you dress up and go to Comic-Con. It's Geek Time, you know all the lines for Wrath of Khan. It's Geek Time, you like asteroids and shiny toys and iPhones. It's Geek Time, time to get a life. It's Geek Time, you will never get a wife. It's Geek Time.
Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Welcome to Geek Time, the next generation. Hosted by Chris Boris,
Don't cross the stream.
Know yourself.
your Geek Time guru,
Never tell me the odds.
bringing you all things geek-worthy from the world of pop culture.
Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Geek Time, Season 2, Episode 4, the first one of 2026. And I gotta tell you, I was going to do an episode last week, but I ended up getting really sick, got a very bad cold, and that kind of ties into my freaking out, of course, because it seems like in December, everyone I knew was getting sick. Everybody around me getting sick, and I was just coming out unscathed. I'm like, wow, I think I'm Superman at this point. I'm invulnerable to getting sick. And you know, they say the pride comes before the fall. So leading up to me getting sick, I was like, yeah, I'm not getting sick. Oh, I just love it. And of course, once I got sick, boy, I felt like a sack of potatoes, man. I just, a week-long bout with that. But yeah, I'm shaking it off, and I'm back with another episode of Geek Time. And I'm so glad because, 3 weeks have gone by. So much news to cover, interviews. And the one thing that I am geeking out on is Stranger Things. And it might be old news at this point, but man, I tell you, I sat down, the new episodes hit. Christmas, loved them, and the finale hit on New Year's, I believe it was, and what a wonderful ending, I have to say. Now, I thought it was crazy that there were rumors going around that there was a secret 9th episode that was supposed to come out on, I think it was January 7th, and I might have that date wrong, but so many people fell into this rabbit hole of there has to be a secret episode because the way it ended, that I guess they weren't satisfied or whatever, that they just fall into this trap. And I guess when the day came, Netflix crashed. It was just so, like, people wanted to see this episode, and it just crashed the server. So I was like, wow, that is insane, because I thought the ending was great. I don't know, this is Lost, like the show Lost on NBC. This is the Lost ending all over again. People were so mad. They weren't satisfied with the ending they got. They wanted more. Everything wasn't explained. And I felt like, well, that's kind of the charm of it. And I remember the original Geek Time cast. Even they were like, look, you're not going to get everything explained. You'd have to leave the door open for some things. And I feel that Stranger Things did the exact same thing. And I really think it lived up to the hype. It was a great storyline. I love the cast. I love what they did. The prologue was kind of long in the tooth. I was like, oh my gosh, it was kind of like Lord of the Rings, the last chapter all over again, where it's like, all right, when are we wrapping this up? Because the movie just kept going and going and going. And I was kind of like waiting to get out of the theater. But yeah, it's just, this episode had that same thing. And I think that might have added to why people thought, hey, there's going to be an episode 9, because that prologue was so long. I think people were like, maybe this is opening the door for something. But I won't get into any spoilers here for this episode. But yeah, I will say that I was very content with the final ending. I think the story that, was it Mike said at the very end, made sense. And that's the story that I'm sticking with when it comes to 11.
Spoiler alert.
Late spoiler alert for you. But yeah, I don't think I'm giving anything away. But yeah, I just remember my daughter came to me and she got sucked into all the episode 9 hype. And some of the things she was explaining, I'm like, you start going down that rabbit hole and you're like, okay, maybe there could be something to this, because one of the things that kind of stood out for me was that the school colors weren't the same school colors of the graduation day. Like, they were wearing orange gowns, but their school colors were, I don't even remember what they were. But yeah, she pointed that out to me. I'm like, maybe this could be a dream reality. Who knows? So, and again, maybe the Duffer Brothers left that door open, because I guess they're doing a spin-off, which I knew that would happen. I mean, come on, you have a series successful as this. Took place in the 1980s. Why not do a sequel that takes place in the 1990s? Different cast, different whatever. You can do it. Time has no meaning here, I guess. What is this, The Matrix?
Prepare for running speed!
So yes, Mr. Worf, we're gonna ram this right into the next series, I guess. So yeah, I was content. I loved it, and if it wasn't good enough for you, I guess you fall into the category of the people that hated the Lost finale, because it was the same thing.
What up with that?
So one of the things I do want to mention too, because this kind of gets into geeky territory, is I ended up seeing the new SpongeBob movie. And yeah, I know. Look, I got kids. They wanted to see something, so we went and saw SpongeBob. It wasn't for me. I sat there, I was getting kind of bored until the main villain came up, which was played by, and I didn't realize this, I had to IMDb the name, because I was like, I know that voice. Where do I know that voice? And once I saw it was Mark Hamill, it made sense to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, because he was basically using a Joker-esque voice, but just twisting it just a little bit. So it still had that hint of Joker in there. I'm like, I know that voice. And lo and behold, it was Joker. So yeah, just kind of...
Say my name.
I guess Mark Hamill doesn't have too much of a range when it comes to villains. But yeah, you just kind of used Joker, rehashed that over again. Crazy. All right, so one of the things I want to talk about... I forgot to play the tag here. But yeah, we are doing some geek news and notes. All right, so we're officially in the geek news and notes section. All right, so yeah, SpongeBob, Stranger Things. Okay, so another big news item, which I thought was crazy, is that now I don't watch Twitch. I've never gotten into Twitch. I don't like doing Let's Plays, so Twitch was never a platform for me. But here's something very, very crazy. So the #1 streamer on Twitch got dethroned, which I guess was, I don't have that name here, but whoever he is, you know who you are. But he got dethroned by an AI Twitch streamer. Now, the name of this is Nero Sama, and it's some like anime-looking girl that is somebody had to go in and create this AI host. But yeah, she's doing like 24-hour streams, never stops, and I guess there is a point in time where they program this streamer to sleep, and even while she's sleeping, things are going on. So there's this like constant entertainment, which this is just getting crazy at this point. I want people to watch less TV and experience life more, and here we are, just giving people reasons to tune into Twitch 24 hours a day. Is this healthy at all? Where are the health inspectors on this one?
Major wow factor.
Like, if you type at her in the comments, She'll write back to you in the comments. Like there's just all this interaction going on. So it's just fodder for engaging the people that come to the to watch this streamer. And what I found even more amusing was, I guess, the second top streamer, which got dethroned. He did a video where he went into Nero-sama's video to kind of check it out and comment on what he's seeing. And he was blown away. He's like, I cannot compete with this. That's basically what he said. He's like, I can't compete with this. And he's just like, this is stupid, but I can't compete with this. So look out, man. If you're not an AI streamer, like you...
Resistance is futile.
You know, I feel like, and you know me with the history of Irate Gamer and YouTube, like in 2012, like before the new CEO took over and flipped it over to celebrities and things like that, like ordinary people like me and a host of others could go on YouTube and actually become one of the very top people on YouTube, which was what happened. And of course, once all the celebrities came in, they kind of took the U out of YouTube and it became Celebrity Tube. And it just, I don't know, it kind of went downhill from there. But yeah, history is repeating itself, but slightly skewed. So watch out, man. Things are going to get ugly from here, methinks.
No! God, please, no! No!
In other news, Avengers, the trailers. Boy, are these cool or what? What's fascinating about them, though, is that they're only like a few seconds of footage long. I'm like, that is it's one of the most brilliant, but I don't know the word I'm looking for, cop-out type of things to do in marketing. But man, 5 seconds. Like this is this is the legs that this franchise has now. That you could put Steve Rogers up there, which was in the first trailer. We got Captain America. Put him up there for 5 seconds, and it was one of the most viewed trailers in all throughout YouTube history, I guess. It's just phenomenal. Crazy. And then the second trailer had a few seconds of Thor. The third trailer had a few seconds of the X-Men, specifically the Fox Universe X-Men, Cyclops. You had Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen reprising their roles as Magneto and Professor X. Crazy, man. I can't wait to see this. But yeah, you just give them 5 seconds screen time, and man, they are there. And then, of course, you have Ben Grimm with the newest one. And I'm telling you, you could keep doing this. And I don't know if that's their plan. I don't know if they're going to release a trailer every week leading up to this thing. But you could do that. And we still know nothing about the plot. And yeah, it's like, I know that they've released and teased that Doctor Doom, played by Tony Stark, is going to be the big bad. But really, what do we actually know of the plot that's going on in this? I've seen some rumors that he's going to go around and take care of all the aberrations, like the things in the timelines that should not exist, like Captain America going back in time and having a kid and whatever, like he did in the last one. He was going to fix all the aberrations that exist in the timelines. I'm like, that would be kind of cool if that's really what's going on here. If that's the case, I'm behind that. I think that would be a great idea.
Great Scott!
But again, that's only speculation. A great speculation, I might add, because yeah, it gives you a reason to go after Steve Rogers, Ben Grimm, or the Fantastic Four, because I guess they're not even in the same timeline. So if they're part of it, be a great reason to go after the X-Men, because they're not part of the Marvel timeline. They're part of the Fox universe. So yeah, who knows? I have a bad feeling we're going to see a lot of death in this one. Like, it sounds crazy because the names that they keep throwing out that are going to have cameos, doesn't this sound a lot like what DC did with their TV universe? What was that? The Arrow universe, where they just brought in all kinds of people from out the DC universe, where they brought in Tom Welling from Smallville, just so many cameos they could just stuff into this thing. Sounds like that's what they're doing with this, but of course it's a silver screen. You've got deeper pockets, so who knows who the hell you're going to see. Maybe we'll see the 1980s Fantastic Four show up. Wouldn't that be just insane? Who knows? I mean, nothing's off the table at this point, but yeah, sky's the limit with this stuff. The one thing I do want to say is it's kind of interesting that all these Avengers are having daughters. Is anybody having sons? I mean, Tony Stark had a daughter. In the Steve Rogers, of course, had a daughter. And then now Thor, it shows he has a daughter. Who's not having daughters? I guess Fantastic Four, get off with Franklin. But yeah, he's actually canon. Like, I knew Franklin, and I think they end up having a daughter, Valerie. Is that it? I can't remember. But yeah, but that's canon. That was in the comics. So I don't know if Thor having a daughter is canon as well. But yeah, I'm like, hey, is anybody having any boys here? I mean, come on, what's going on here? So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with that. Absolutely. All right, so here I thought was great. I love seeing this news. Star Wars shakeup. Nerd alert.
Nerd alert!
Nerd alert. Nerd alert. So I guess in Star Wars universe, Kathleen Kennedy, it was rumored for a while, but she is going to be gone soon. I didn't write down who was replacing her, but yeah, she's out. A new guy is coming in, and like I covered in the last episode, this Star Wars universe, it needs a shake-up. I would love to see a whole reboot after episode 6, which I don't know if they'll do. It might be sacrilegious, consider sacrilegious at this point, but I say let's go. I don't care. Let's do it. Let's go full throttle. Fire the rockets, may the heavens be damned, and we'll just pick up the pieces. But I want to see this universe redone in a way that makes sense and just brings people back to what was. Because if you go back to the original trilogy, man, there is so much there with philosophy and just like old school philosophy that they plucked out of like the old I think the Upanishads. That's the old text from Hindu lore, I think it was. Like George Lucas, boy, he was a great researcher in mythology, and he just brought a lot of those tropes into pop culture, and that needs to be done again. A lot of these new directors, they don't know what they're doing. They're just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks, and it's just not working. Like, I've had enough with Rian Johnson type directors coming in and being like, I'm going to subvert your expectations. It's like, no, I don't want them subverted. I just want a good storyline that goes with darkness and good and light and all that stuff. So give me something good.
But you subverted expectations.
So, all right, guys, we'll go ahead and take our first break here on Geek Time. We covered some really major news stories, and we'll be talking about all things collectible with Action Comics #1. We'll be talking to a voice actor from Dragon Ball Z and so much more.
Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Geek Time continues transmitting next with
Stephanie Nadolny.
Now, if you're aware of McFarlane Toys, which if you're a geek, who isn't, then you have to check out these Page Puncher Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. These are amazing. McFarlane Toys has created a whole line of these. Now, Wave 1 has 2 turtles and 2 villains. You get Leonardo, Donatello, the Shredder, and a Foot Soldier. They look amazing. They're based off the IDW Comics counterparts, and they just pre-released, gave us a sneak peek for the second series, and we're going to get Raphael, Michelangelo, Bebop, and Rocksteady, and I gotta say, they look great. I need to make room on my shelf for these guys because they look absolutely phenomenal. They are on sale now, probably on Amazon's, Targets, and more.
This is Loki, and you're listening to Geek Time.
Welcome back to Geek Time, Season 2, Episode 4. Yes, it is Tom Hiddleston, Loki, and it's probably a good bet he will be in Avengers. It seems like with the Avengers movie, I would stake money that all the Avengers will probably be back. I mean, it is called an Avengers movie, so of course, with people like Chris Evans was pretty tight-lipped about being in the sequel. I mean, he kind of threw everybody for a loop by saying, yeah, I won't be in the next installment, I'm sitting this one out. And boy, he threw a curveball. But I kind of had a hunch he would be back. Because, yeah, you just can't do an Avengers movie without the core people. And that's evident because they brought back Robert Downing Jr. So, you know, Tom Hiddleston will probably be back as well. So, alright, if you're watching Dragon Ball Z, I've been a fan of Dragon Ball Z since I was a kid. I remember when they aired that in the early 90s. When they first, I think it was on like a Fox affiliate. I don't know if we even had an official home back then, but I remember they showed the very first season of Dragon Ball back in the early 90s, and I loved it because it was serialized. It continued from one episode to the next, and there wasn't a lot of shows that did that back then. So when I watched it, you know, it was Goku. You follow Goku, and they're collecting the Dragon Balls, and he turns into an ape at one point, and then the next week, you had to tune in to see, you know, is he going to kill all his friends or what? Because he turned into this rampaging ape, but they cut his tail off at the end, and I guess it's probably a spoiler alert for you.
Spoiler alert!
if you're watching a show from the 1990s, but yeah, so I sat down with the voice actor that is now voicing Goku in the new Dragon Ball Z, or it's not Dragon Ball Z, it's Dragon Ball Daima, however you pronounce it. But it's really cool because she also voiced way back when Gohan, when he was a little kid. So she's kind of taking up that mantle. And it was funny because I'm sitting there talking with her. I'm like, man, I could just hear Goku's voice just coming out through her own. So it just a great conversation that we had. And if you like Dragon Ball Z, you don't want to miss this interview.
And now, Geek Time brings you a Dragon Ball Z voice actress that has pretty much been there from the beginning. Young Gohan, young Goku, and who knows how many more youngins she'll play in the future. Collect those Dragon Balls, make a wish, and get ready for Stephanie Nadolny.
So I'm here with Stephanie. I'm super excited because you're kind of like a voice of my childhood. I ran across this show back when it first started, back in the early 90s. And I just ran across it one day, and it was a serialized anime show, those things are few and far between back then. So I just caught my attention. I was like, this is great. But the story was just incredible. How did you become a part of that?
For me, it started with my music career. I was traveling and singing with show bands right out of high school. I had grown up in doing a lot of musical theater, singing, writing songs, parodies, jingles for radio. I'd always had a big affection for Weird Al, so I was writing my own lyrics to some of the songs that were already released for comedic purposes. Friends of mine would get together and we'd record our just shows that we'd come up with and write the theme song, and we would interview each other like we had our own show with cassettes. It was a while back, 80s. And from there, I just always had the aspiration and passion to pursue music and singing in bands or maybe my own performing artist record deal. I was kind of like pursuing kind of that kind of thing at the time. And then I ended up getting referred for an audition for Jimmy Toys, which was a company that just did character voices for toys, whether it be Halloween, Christmas. Sometimes they needed people to sing in those voices, little toys that would sing and dance and twirl around. And, I did like a Britney Spears toy that was like, hit me, wow. Oh baby. And then, so it was kind of more novelty stuff. And then I got referred in to record one season of Helen the Hen for Chuck E. Cheese, which was being recorded in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And then I met musicians from there, started sitting in with other bands. And then I was called in by Barry Watson, who was a fan of that band, Brave Combo, out of Denton, Texas. And he had me come in and audition for Dragonball Z, which I had never heard of. I had never heard of anime. And then I tried it for all the females and ended up getting the voice of Gohan. And they wanted him to be nice and raspy, so that's what they chose me to be. And then from there, the company grew. It's called Funimation at the time. And then we started working on Dragon Ball, then Dragon Ball GT. Goku gets turned back into a kid, so I'm back for that.
Yeah, here we are 20-some years later, and you're still here.
Right,
Which is great. I bet you had no idea the longevity.
The longevity, none of us did. Absolutely. The franchise itself is already over 40 years old from the original manga in 1984. The first Dragon Ball episode aired in 1986. Long before any of us knew what any of it was. But I started to realize over the years after I was recording, because I wasn't in very often, I would do a lot of material in 1 or 2 hours and not be needed for months. So I would go back out and tour with my band and come back, and if they needed me in the studio for a certain amount of lines, we would just schedule it accordingly.
Could you give me some popular lines as Gohan that you're always getting requested for?
Don't hurt my daddy! Leave my daddy alone!
Oh my gosh, that's great. Yeah, that takes me back.
Yeah, and then Goku's like, he's up here, he's carefree, he's not quite as raspy, but they are father and son, and they do kind of sound a little alike, and that's fine. So I just tried to channel it through the acting. I did major in drama in college, so I did get some dramatic arts training under my belt.
So when it comes to voices, is there anybody that you kind of looked up to before you took on the roles of the voice acting career?
I as a kid I watched cartoons, of course, and I always thought the voices were something I guess I had an ear for, but being a singer, I think I had an ear for it, so I just consider that to be a gift that we all have gifts, and I think that was one that I thankfully latched onto and had a passion for. So I would mimic my favorite singers more than anything. I grew up in the disco era, so I would mimic Donna Summer, and I would mimic my friends, my babysitters. I thought it was just something to do that I figured everybody could do it. It was just kind of a little kid thing that I was doing. And then as I got older, I got more into the development part of being a dramatic actress, but I naturally was better at the musical theater, being that there was music involved. Music and choreography, dance. They call that the triple threat, where you can kind of do all three at the same time.
Well, when it comes in terms of your career with voice acting, I would kind of throw you in the same pot with like Nancy Cartwright, who does Bart Simpson, because she also does a young boy's voice.
She does.
So
yes.
Do you kind of look at other people and study their technique?
I do. I listen to them. I listen to reels, maybe some stuff on YouTube, and I find myself automatically wanting to see if I can sound like that, or if I can mimic that voice, or
can you do a Bart
Beavis
Simpson?
and Butthead, Mom is broken. I don't know. So I definitely got into the voices of a lot of the characters in the 90s when I was traveling with a show band, and I was really fascinated with the concept of recording and listening back and trying to mimic what you hear. And so when the cassette recorder came out, I was obsessed. I think I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I had to have one, and I think that's kind of where it probably began.
Yeah.
But the singing and the music has always been at the forefront. But it does open the doors if you can be a voice actor and you can sing and voice act at the same time. So I wrote some novelty songs for radio, mid-'90s, late '90s, and then got the audition in '98 for Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, and you voiced Gohan for, what, like 2 or 3 years then? Before
Gohan?
you grew up, of course.
If I had to go back to a calendar, it was probably 5 or 6 years, and then I guess you throw Goku in there, so it was probably about a decade.
Okay.
Off and on.
Yeah, because you went back and did the
Right.
Dragon Ball once at the same time.
We did Dragon Ball, then Dragon Ball GT. We did some video games, Budokai Tenkaichi. We did some movies. We did the BoJack movie. We did Path to Power.
Yeah.
With Kid Goku.
Well, and I will say too, like the series that I saw, like Dragon Ball, the first season, which was like early '90s. Like when I heard you do Gohan's voice, it was seamless. I couldn't tell like you from the previous voice actor.
Oh wow! Okay, that's good. I think Funimation was really good at really trying to make sure the voices were unique, and that they were distinguishable.
Yeah.
Maybe more so from some other studios that worked in other languages. But I say that because I only have my own experience with English. So I think that was something that they did well. A lot of people don't know that I was involved with a lot of the anime themes back in the early days, 2000, 2001, 2, and 3. We were recording anime themes for various animes that were being worked on and dubbed at the studio. I started working on Yu Yu Hakusho. And
I remember that.
Sayonara Bye Bye was a song that was my first anime theme that I actually got to go in and sing. And then I got.
I bet you're thrilled.
It was so
you're
fun.
Like, I could use my past.
I'm back in the studio. I love it. I love being in the creative process of recording and fine tuning and really getting into the booth and getting it really good and being able to do that. And then
because you don't see Kid Goku busting out some tunes. And
right. He does hum a little bit, but he burps a few times. I know Goku in Daima, Goku Mini does some of that, and so I did a lot of that. Just kind of like I was kind of juggling a lot of different things at the same time. To me, it was easy because I just was a big hard worker. That work ethic had to be there for me. I bought a house, had to pay, make my big payments and all of that. Yeah. Still in that same house.
Living the dream.
Yeah, moving around a lot growing up was not easy. So I think subconsciously I'm like, I don't ever want to move again. Because being a new kid is not easy in small towns, and when you're really creative and you really know what you want to do, that can be kind of a threatening thing. So, but all kids kind of go through that, trying to fit in and figure out who you are and things like that. But as an adult, I think it's helped with me to be more resilient and to be easier going with rejection, because you would pretty much invite yourself into that realm when you're in show business. You're not going to get everything. You got to keep working hard regardless.
Well, I read when they did the Dragon Ball Daima, you had to audition to play young Goku. Were you like, wait a minute, don't you know who I am? Like, no gravitas there.
No, I mean it's just to be asked to come in. At first I thought, well, they're just humoring me. I can do that too. But getting back in the studio and had some really good chemistry with the director, and I kind of let it go and just kept my expectations low. And about a week later, they called and said they'd like me to voice Goku Mini and Dragon Ball Daima.
Nice. Can you give me some lines as Kid Goku?
Yeah, man, I sure am hungry. Hey, let's go out and find the Dragon Balls. There's some new characters involved. They touched on a little bit of the nostalgia comedy, which is great for the fans that have been around the whole time. It's also good for the new generation of fans. Kids grew up watching it. Now they're watching it with their kids, their family members, their nieces and nephews and things. Introducing Dragon Ball Z franchise is always an option.
Next generations, yeah.
Yeah, and so people ask, it's like I recommend you start with Dragon Ball just to kind of get an idea of the simplicity of it and the whole idea of trying to remain pure of heart. It's got a lot to offer, and the storytelling is the backbone, and that's Akira Toriyama.
Now, since it is a Japanese, you're doing an English dub
Animated.
of a Japanese anime. Is it kind of hard to hit the beats when you're doing the voiceover to match up the lip syncing, or how's that go?
That is a technique that needs to be learned for sure if you want to get into voice acting, specifically dubbing.
I can't imagine the stress to hit all those beats.
Yeah, for me it was more like, okay, I'm not in a show. I don't have to smile. I can contort my face and it doesn't matter. Anything to get the right read, following directions, staying focused, and just doing the best you can, really get in the moment. Being able to, put your personal life aside and get in that booth and really make magic. And I think the timing of the beeps and the flaps and things like that came somewhat naturally by being in music. Noticing the rhythm of the mouth flaps was something that I think came naturally just from being a musician. If they want more rasp or they want it to be more higher stakes, a lot of times when you see it the first time, after you've tried it once, you can usually voice the line again immediately, and then they can slide it into place.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever, when you first started, did you record in a group, or was it all alone?
One at a time.
Okay.
We would go from line to line.
Okay.
Fast forward, rewind.
Oh, man.
Do this again. Okay, now we need some pickups. Or maybe a name wasn't pronounced exactly right, and we had to go in, or there might be just some slight changes. And we would just go in and do those, all at once, sometimes in less than an hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No residuals, no royalties, unfortunately.
Yeah. And you do a lot of the video games. I'm sure you do like a 50,000 grunts. And
a lot of grunts, a lot of reactions, absolutely. Screams, battle, whoa, that was a good one. Little things like that for the video games.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, because all the Daima characters got to come in and record the DLCs for the the video games that had already been released.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Legends, Kakarot, Sparking Zero. They wanted to add the Daima characters so that the player can choose, Daima characters that they want, or they want
nice feature.
A little Goku to fight big Goku. Well, they can do that.
All right, I won't keep you too much longer, but I saw on your IMDb that you were an extra in the Titanic movie. Is that correct, or is that?
It is not, and I don't even know how it got there.
Really? Okay, I'm like.
I mean, what a dream that would have been.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, wow. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that taken off because it's just not accurate.
Yeah, what's going on?
I know, and I don't even know how
they.
Who really updates those pages? It's kind of.
Next, we'll see you in the Marvel universe or something.
I think I looked like somebody that was an extra in the Titanic movie.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what happened, and they just mistook it for me. But
thanks. That makes sense.
Thanks for the for the audition. I mean, whatever. But yeah, I was not, unfortunately. But there's also things that they missed too. I don't think it's written in there that I was Hell in the Hen for one season for Chuck E. Cheese, but it is what it is, and I'm not credited for the anime themes and a couple of other animes, and I did some additional voices in a lot of other animes. I was also KO from OKKO, Let's Be Heroes, featured on Cartoon Network, and that was probably 2015, 16, 17, somewhere in there. That was recorded with the rest of the cast in LA, so that was definitely recorded. It was an American cartoon, so they do it the other way around.
Okay.
And then they animate around us.
Yeah, because it's interesting too because you talked about when you do the Gohan voice and then you switch over to the young Goku where you're like, well, it's way up here. Mm-hmm. And Jim Cummings, who's done like Tigger and things like that, he has the same philosophy. It's like you have where he says there's some voices that he has in the attic where it's high register or some in the basement where it's way down here. And do you kind of have the same philosophy when it comes to voices?
Yes. I also I take the visual in first and foremost to see what's going on. Is there action? Is this a fight scene? Is this just a laid back scene? Is anybody screaming or yelling? Do I need to project more? Is Goku far away in the sky and he has to project something? So it really helps to have the visuals. And this last time around was a lot more like up-to-date technology compared to 20 years ago.
Right.
No paper scripts. Everything's done on a flat screen. Crunchyroll is now the company that kind of changed owners over the years from Funimation. So now it's Crunchyroll. There's a lot of up-and-comers and new talent, new directors, and it was a whole different experience. I had a different director, a different ADR director. Went in and had a really great time. Like I said, hopefully making magic for the listeners. And the viewers, I guess.
I kind of picture like an exaggeration of like the hoity-toity actor going like, what's my inspiration for this scene?
Right.
Do you ever have
what's
those
going
moments?
on in this scene? Right. So I just kind of, go by feel. The director this time around did let me have some more flexibility with how I may interpret the scene, and he would let me kind of deliver a line without much direction. And then if we felt like it needed to be a different read or needed to be more intense, we would just do it again. Or I would give them two takes, and then they could pick the one. If it fits, they move it into place. Nice. So it was very efficient to just kind of move through it pretty quick. You could be surprised how much you can do in an hour, really. A couple hours, maybe 3 at the most. You can really get a lot of material done.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. All right, so last question. If you were able to gather like Dragon Balls and get them, collect them and make a wish, what would your wish be?
That's a good question. Well, it's something that couldn't physically happen, but I'd probably want my mom back. I lost her during the first year of recording Gohan at a very untimely loss, and she was my whole world, unconditional love, and she didn't live anywhere near long enough, in my opinion. I'm actually older than the age she passed at 51, so that can't be done. But really, more than anything, more realistically, just I think more compassion in the world, more understanding, and just more in touch with the human condition would probably be my wish. Just to kind of unite people instead of divide.
All right. Well, we'll definitely send prayers your mother's way, and
she's there. She's
excellent.
here.
Excellent. Well, I'm getting the high sign. So thank you so much for taking your time out with me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. You got any food? I sure am hungry.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Adjusting audio playback.
Geek Time. We'll be right back.
Boy, we got some Turtles heavy sponsors today. So yeah, we have Mighty Jax, the action figure line of Ninja Turtles arcade figures. These are amazing. These are blind box figures. There are 6 in all to collect, plus a bonus rare figure, which is, I think it looks like the Shredder. It's like, it gives me a silhouette, so I don't know who that is. Looks like the Shredder. But yeah, for the main figures, you get all 4 figures of the Turtles that look like their arcade counterparts with the cell shading and everything. These just look amazing on your shelf, and they also have Bebop and Rocksteady as well. And if you want, just go get a case of these things, because and then you'll have your whole line figured out. But just amazing. Mighty Jax for the 40th anniversary, coming at you. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
This is William Shatner, and you're listening to Geek Time, transmitting throughout the galaxy.
Oh, it doesn't get much better than that. William Shatner coming at you doing an ID for Geek Time. Yeah, I really got to pull that interview out of the archives, because that was just an incredible... We're going to have to do like a whole Star Trek interview segment, because, yeah, there's just so much I have to pull out from the old show. All right, welcome back to Geek Time. We are back, and this time I want to talk about a lot of collectible news, because I've got an interview. I sat down with a guy that has a Funko Pop store locally here, First Form Collectibles. I ended up sitting down with the owner and talking about all things Funko, because, like I covered in a couple episodes ago, Funko is in trouble. There's rumors that look, the sales are down across the board. And there are rumors, I don't know if they're true or not, that they're facing bankruptcy. And I'm just curious to get his viewpoint on, because he sells these things for a living. So I'm curious what he sees on the ground floor. So let's go ahead and talk to the owner of First Form Collectibles.
And now, First Form Collectibles owner, Ricky.
All right, guys, I'm here at First Form Collectibles here in the Franklin Park Mall, here with Ricky, the owner, and you've got a lot of collectible items, pop culture items, pop figures, toys, collectibles. That's right up my alley.
Yeah, we opened up here about a year and a half ago, so Franklin Park Mall has always been a location we wanted to expand to. We previously had 2 locations in Michigan. This was a perfect fit. They have nothing like this here, besides Hot Topic, Box Lunch, which are great stores, but...
Right. Just add into the flavor.
Bringing some things a little bit different. Also kind of bringing that convention experience with things you would only go to convention. We bring it to a storefront aspect. So you get your live signings, you get signed items.
Yeah, take that, Box Lunch.
Yeah, exactly.
We got that over, you guys.
Exactly. So just having that experience, that convention experience at the store, and bringing people to sign in, because they know conventions, they can be expensive. Ticket price is expensive, things of that nature.
It's up.
And for you come here at First Form, you pay a small ticket fee, but you get the same experience that you'd get meeting your favorite fans at a larger convention. You pay $40-$50 for. Here you get it way less, a fraction of the cost. That helps support bringing the talent out. And we're able to have that here in First Form Toledo. And yeah, we love that. And the mall expects it out of us now to have these signings. And it does bring a lot of traffic from all over the Midwest.
Oh, good. Yeah, keeping in the city here.
Exactly. And it's crazy because, I say the Midwest, but we've had people from Canada. We've had people flying from Florida to be a part of the signings.
Wow, really?
Yep. And Scranton, Pennsylvania. We had people come from Scranton, Pennsylvania to come to sign in.
The office crew.
Exactly.
Here comes Dwight Schrute.
But yeah, the marketing's great with our team, and to be able to have people just have this experience here, like bringing your favorite voices of our childhood and favorite current voices right now, and popular pop culture shows, whether it be animation, anime, things of that nature. So yeah, it's been great. And it's been a great weekend too. So it's exciting.
So you're selling a lot of pop figures here today. What would you say are the most popular ones?
So for this week in Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, they've been flying off the shelves. Having Stephanie here, people had that nostalgia feel, and it's been great. So we've been having a lot of people buy the Dragon Ball Z Pops. Also, Jujutsu Kaisen has been really popular, and Demon Slayer is always a hit.
Steam. Yeah, it seems like.
Yeah, and Demon Slayer has always been a great hit. Especially when the movie came out, we get a lot of that. But yeah, for pop Funko figures, that's been what's selling predominantly this weekend for the Funkos.
Well, I heard they're having like some financial problems or something like that. Are you seeing it on your end?
So there's been rumors about that having some issues in regards to like the financial issues. I think Funko's always been up and down, and if you look at the stock market with their stock, it's always been up and down. But actually, they've been doing a lot of great. I think the new CEO that's in place now has been doing a lot of stuff to renovate this, to reinvent the company, bring in limited pieces. That's been a big hit. They've been selling out on their Funko.com. So actually, a lot of Funkos have been selling out via Funko.com. So I think we're getting in the right direction to what Funko used to be, collectible, limited figures for collectors and for everybody. I mean. And that's the direction they've been moving in. I think it's been working really well. So I feel like Funko is going to be in a better place come 2026.
Being that it's the holiday season, what have you seen is the big seller?
Oh man! So I'm going to plug my friend in here because he's been great in supporting us. Rug Fiends has been a really great partner with us. Our rugs have been selling like no other.
Oh yeah, I saw those. Yeah, you got different designs like the Pokemon cards on a rug.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's die cut like we have a Titan die cut. So like these rugs have been great, and he invented a great company that makes his pop culture, anime, pretty much anything rug. Also, my friend BD Tats, he's a tattoo artist out in Michigan. Wayne, Michigan, he owns a shop called Kame House. His posters have been selling like crazy. As you can see right now, if you look over there, there's a lot of sold out stickers because his art's not only amazing, but it's just such a cool item to give. So
now, if people can't get down to the store, is there any way to get them online, like the rugs and the?
Yeah, well, you can actually. We are revamping and doing our store like our web store that's connected to our store. It's called firstformstore.com. So you can do orders, and if you want to order and have it shipped, we will invoice you that shipping information. We invoice you the shipping and everything of that nature. And also we'll have some information in regards to upcoming signings and everything.
All right, fair enough. Well, thank you, Ricky, for your time. Really appreciate it.
No problem, Chris. I appreciate you.
And what was the website again?
Firstformstore.com.
All right, guys. Head there if you want to see some really cool prints of some Pokemon cards.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. So, yeah, that was a pretty enlightening interview to see that his take of things, where he feels that the Funko Pop thing is just like part of the ebb and flow of the collectible, which, yeah, I can see both sides of the table on pros and cons for that. But one of the things I thought was interesting that I want to cover next is, and this falls totally under the collectible geekiness flavor of the show, is that Action Comics sold recently for $15 million. This just crosses all kinds of Rubicons, because I remember growing up in the 80s, 90s, it seems like baseball cards were like, and I'm not talking about all baseball cards, but like the old ones, the Mickey Mantles, from like the 30s, 40s, maybe earlier than that. I'm kind of dating myself. Kind of hard to remember that far back, but yeah, like the Willie Mazes, the Mickey Mantles, those old cards that before baseball cards were actually a thing. Like these came with, I think, packs of chewing tobacco or, oh God, I don't even remember. I'd have to talk to somebody about that, but like I remember growing up, you'd always hear these astronomical figures like, oh, 10 million for this and 15 million for this card, because there was only a couple out there that existed. I'm not sure if the bottom fell out of those collectibles or if they're still, worth their weight in gold today. But it seems like nowadays it's all about comic books, and with Action Comics, yeah, $15 million. And what's interesting about this is that the person who bought it wants to be anonymous. Like, he's not sharing his name, so I don't know if it's out of embarrassment or just he doesn't want to be robbed or what. So maybe that's a good thing. But I remember last time I talked about the Boba Fett figure fetching, I think it was $1 million recently too. And I remember I posed the question, would I dump $1 million just to have that Boba Fett figure? So if you're asking me if I would be one of the people on the auction block to throw his hat in the ring, like $15 million for this, I don't know. I think, and my answer is the same. If I had a museum, like a Geek Time museum, which wouldn't that be cool? A Geek Time museum, like you would need cool stuff to put in there. And if you had Action Comics #1 to throw in this museum, like that's bragging rights right there. And of course, it seems like this comic book, like there is no devaluation in sight. Like this is an investment. If you pick this up, you know that you could probably sell this down the road for more than what you bought it for, because Geek Time in 2010 interviewed the guy that bought an Action Comics #1 for, what was it, $2.2 million. So, yeah, that was 16 years ago. And since then, we've added $13 million to that value. So it's incrementally went up almost $1 million a year. That's insane. That is just crazy. But yeah, so I wanted to pull the interview. I'm gonna pull the interview of that whole conversation out of the Geek Time vault in a few minutes here. But yeah, let me talk about this for a couple more minutes. So in the article, it said there are fewer than 100 in existence today. In 2010, I got that right. So in 2010, it sold for $1.5 million. In 2011, it ended up selling for $2.2 million. So that one, it's interesting because Nicolas Cage I remember Nicolas Cage was an owner of that, and he had it robbed from him. So like somebody robbed it from him. And I remember seeing that news article, I think it was in the late 90s, but he ended up selling it once it turned up, and then the guy that owned it sold it in 2011 for $2.2 million. So I don't know if this new one is his copy. I think it might. Yeah, it was. Okay, so this new one was Nicolas Cage's copy. So I'm kind of wondering if that $15 million is purely because of the comic book itself, or because it's intertwined with the fact that Nicolas Cage did once own it. And he's that's part of the cool allure too. Like, hey, I've got the Nicolas Cage copy. I mean, that, again, bragging rights.
Enough said.
I know, right? Okay, so yeah, so now I want to dip into the Geek Time archive here, because there's a lot of interesting things that come out of this little conversation about the guy who picked up the comic book for $1.5 million. And he actually brought it into the Geek Time studios, and the previous hosts actually got to hold it, and they were just like, well, I can't believe this is $1.5 million in my hands right now. So, all right, the Geek Time vault.
And now, the Geek Time vault. And now, the guy who sold Action Comics #1 for $1.5 million, Vincent Zerzolo.
Welcome back to Geek Time, the home of the greatest introductions ever for any guests who come in.
Hey, a $1.5 million comic. This guy deserves.
Seriously.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now joining us is Vincent Zerzolo, the man who sold a comic for $1.5 million. First of all, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you
incredible.
Thanks a lot.
Now, I've heard a lot about this, but the way this comic was found, it was like tucked into a bunch of others. Like, how did that happen?
Here's the deal.
This is a great
about 15, 20 years ago, there was an antiques show in Pittsburgh, and there was a comic book, this comic book, that was found in a stack of movie magazines. And basically, guy bought the collection, and as he was going through the collection, he found the comic book and went, oh, I think this is worth some money. Brought it up to New York City to a comic book convention, and you've never seen anything like this. The whole show went nuts, because you never see an Action 1 show up at a convention, especially in this high grade. And every comic dealer was tripping over one another, trying to get the guy to sell to them.
What did he? How did he walk in with it? Was it out of?
He walked in with it. I would imagine in some type of suitcase or bag.
Did he have any idea what he had?
He knew he had something that was worth money, but basically because these guys were so aggressive. It got pretty bad. I mean, guys cursing each other out, trying to get right in between one another.
Nerds get nasty when they want their stuff.
Oh, you bet. But what ended up happening, the guy got so scared he ran out the door and said, "I'll come back in a day or so." One dealer said to the other dealer, one dealer said to this guy, "I'll have $50,000 in cash ready for you tomorrow." And the other dealer heard him say, "Says you don't have fucking $50,000. You can't come in here with no money. You got nothing." The guy the next day comes in with his cousin who looked like a mafioso security guy with an attaché case. And what had happened was the guy said to him, one dealer said to him, "If you come in with $50,000, I'll give you $10,000 in cash tomorrow." The guy walks in with the suitcase, opens it up in front of him, says, "Here's the $50,000. Where's my money?" He goes, "Fuck you! I'm not giving you nothing." And he walked away.
Wow!
Oh wow!
But the guy, then they had people posted at all the doors in the convention, and the guy never showed up. It ended up getting sold to another dealer out on the West Coast, and then after that, made its way into the hands of the guy who owned it up until now, from about 15 years ago. And that was a customer of ours, a very well-known New York comic collector.
Now, when something like this comes along and you just don't see this particular comic in that kind of shape, I would imagine, it'd be very difficult. Like, how do you authenticate it? How do you know that someone's not putting one over on you guys, a great imitation or something like that?
I've been buying and selling comic books for over 20 years. I own Metropolis Collectibles and ComicConnect.com. My partner Stephen Fischler and I, we're two of the premier dealers in the country on this type of material, and basically you couldn't replicate this book in a way that we wouldn't be able to detect it. There's too many pieces to the puzzle that we'd be able to notice something that was wrong.
Do you keep some of these things sort of secret? Like, are some of them secret that aren't so obvious of what you're looking for? Is it pretty well known
in terms of
what you're looking for when you authenticate it? Is there something in the paper that somebody who's trying to do something like this might? Or is it all obvious things?
It's really obvious. After you've looked at enough Golden Age comic books, you know what a real one is and what a fake one is. Mm-hmm. There's only so good a job a restoration expert can do to create the old paper. They really can't match it perfectly. The paint is very unique. The inks are very unique. So we do have times where people try to slip us books as unrestored, and they're really restored. And it's up to us as experts to be able to detect the restoration and make sure we don't make any mistakes.
Does it include microscopes and everything and putting it through?
Really good eyes.
Really just your eye? Wow.
Yeah, some guys use black lights, but you really need to know your stuff, and you need to know when books have been cleaned, when they've been pressed, when they've been color touched, where pieces have been replaced, staple reinforcement, tons of different things that they can do to a comic book to make it look better and try to get more money for it.
And that's the actual $1.5 million?
Yes,
you have it here?
I brought it for you guys to see.
Oh my gosh!
Wow!
Whoa!
Wow.
Can you take flash pictures? That's not going to destroy it?
No problem.
And can you grab it, Jason, and run?
Yeah.
We were plotting
that
last
thing
night.
is worth $1.5 million, and it's just hanging out in the studio with us.
Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, guys.
Vincent.
We'll be right back with more on S1E10 of Geek Time. We'll be right back.
Nerd alert. Warning, Geek Time will return after these messages.
Alright guys, so if you're a fan of the Irate Gamer series on YouTube, which was my flagship show, they are now available on Blu-ray. I finally can get the first, 80 episodes on 2-volume sets. So it's quite the nostalgic overload for all you guys.
Nice.
So the first edition has 61 episodes in all, contains seasons 1 through 6. The second set contains seasons 7 and 8, which contains over 3-4 hours of content, bonus features, all that good stuff.
Plus, Ronnie the Skeleton's going to do commentary, right?
Ronnie the Skeleton is there in all his glory, even in bloopers and bonus scenes and all that good stuff. So if you want that, go to Ghost Dr. Chris. That's where they are available for sale. Oh, I want to get my Irate Gamer sets.
Hey everyone, it's Goku, and you're listening to Geek Time. Yeah!
All right, thank you, Stephanie, for bringing us back from commercial. And yeah, it was, again, such a pleasure talking with her. So great. And so, yeah, one of the last things I want to do is talk about some TVs and movie notes. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff coming down the pike, it seems. A lot of IPs, like I said in the last episode. It's IPs, man. Everybody's, like, studios are still interested in IPs. They don't want to gamble on anything else. And it's just, what's coming up is more of the same. We have a Scrubs reunion show dropping February 25th on, I think it's Hulu. I didn't write it down, but yeah, I think that's Hulu. I can't wait. I loved the original Scrubs. Didn't like the spin-off show. I think it only lasted, like 7 episodes, and they yanked that sucker off the air. But yeah, I saw the trailer for the new show. Looks great. I can't wait. So, all right. And then another one is the Muppets. I guess the Muppets are coming back. Seth Rogen has a hand in that, which, why do they keep handing him stuff? It just drives me nuts. I hope he doesn't ruin this like he ruined the Ninja Turtles, which, I got to talk about that. So, when I went to see the SpongeBob movie, they had a small mini movie at the beginning of it, which was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was basically the Seth Rogen version, where the animation's all weird, and you got the woke April. Thankfully, she wasn't in this one, but it was like what was it called? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. It was kind of like a Lost in New York, Home Alone type title that they redid. But the big bad in this one was Chrome Dome. They took a new spin on Chrome Dome from the old cartoon show, which he was this AI entity. It was okay. I mean, look, when I sit down and watch this incarnation is not my Turtles. I cannot get into this iteration.
You shall not pass!
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it, but that's as far as it goes. It's not working its way into my nostalgic factor in my mind or anything. I'm just like, okay, that's good. But I got kind of bored, to be honest. You know, there was a couple guys, I think in their 20s. I think they're a little bit autistic, and he was like hooting and hollering. He's like, yeah, Leonardo and stuff. I was like, wow, dude, I'm like, okay, whatever floats your boat, man. But yeah, so I guess Seth Rogen, he talked that he said he was going to have Sabrina Carpenter be one of the guests, because they're going old school with this, which is the best way to do it, with the 1970s, because if you remember the old Muppet Show, is basically them putting on a show in the theater, and they had special guests like Mark Hamill or Orson Welles, Bob Denver, Loretta Swit. Where did that name come from? Oh man, just like pop out of my head there. But yeah, from MASH. She just recently died, I think. But yeah, so they're having Sabrina Carpenter, which kind of interesting. I wonder if in relation to like the Carpenters. I think Karen Carpenter was on an episode a long time ago as well. So yeah, I got even that kind of a little nostalgic factor. So I guess, yeah, so I saw Sabrina Carpenter's name. I don't know if she was already approved or they're trying to get her or what's going on there. But yeah, so if that shows up, it'll probably be on Disney Plus, of course, because God forbid it shows up anywhere else outside of a streaming platform. So yeah, I guess a Chevy Chase documentary just dropped. I'll talk about that more after I see it. I do really want to watch that. And just a lot of documentaries. And oh yeah, because the what is it? John Candy documentary. I'm halfway through it. I'll share my thoughts in the next episode. But yeah, I can't wait to talk about that. And hopefully next time we'll have Scotty. Scotty saw it. Hopefully he'll be back and we can chat about that together. So all right, guys, thank you for coming back to another episode of Geek Time. It was a long time coming. I had to go over this sickness. So in the words of Ralph Sorella, as he liked to end his segment, that's all I got. So we'll see you next time. Same Geek Time, same Geek Channel.
Live long and prosper.